It's that time that I told you in my update I needed to get to, and that is planning and prepping for the start of the calendar year for 2025. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are halfway through our 8th year of homeschooling for the 2024-2025 school year. I have a current 7th grader and a current 3rd grader. So this video is going to be explaining my planning and prepping process for getting us back on track for the rest of the school year. So here we go. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Full disclosure, my children are sitting right there playing video games, which means that there will be sudden, excruciating outbursts of sounds. No one is being beaten, except maybe the ghosts in Luigi's mansion. So just so you know, if you hear screaming, they're playing video games. Okay, so we are currently on our winter break from our school life. We are ramping up and going wild and crazy. Our personal lives, our real lives, the rest of life is a little bit bananas right now, as it has been for quite some time. And because of that, we have needed to exercise our flexibility and allow grace to come into our homeschool plan. If you have been here for any amount of time, you guys know that I plan out our school year in like July, and almost always it goes faster or exactly to plan, and things go that way. This year, I feel like has been the year that has taught me some very important lessons when it comes to homeschool. And that is to give yourself grace, to focus on the joyful flexibility that homeschool allows you when the rest of life gets crazy. We've had just a lot of things this year. If you watched my mid-year update, you know that I felt like I described it as other. There's been a lot of otherness in our homeschool, in our lives this year. Not good, not bad, not great, not blah, 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 other. And because of that, it just has been different. It hasn't gone to plan. It hasn't been on track. However, I would like to go into the upcoming calendar year, because we're halfway through the school year, with a fresh perspective and just a handle on the things. Now, if you guys know from my planning process, what I will do is I will plan out our year, accounting for breaks we want to take, time off, yada, yada. I will get a physical number of weeks that is needed based on our curriculum pieces. And then I will fluve it out with a couple of weeks so we can take it easy. Yeah, gives a little fudgy time. And then we just divide number of pages or number of lessons or number of chapters by number of weeks. And then we just do the thing. And I don't do a lot of weekly planning or monthly planning or any of that. And I don't think I've ever done mid-year planning beyond just cleaning out the cabinets and reorganizing. So this is new. Welcome. But what I'm going to do right now is I basically have done the same thing, because this is the system that I know works for me. So I went ahead, I'm not taking you along, look at this paper. I went and I dug through the bins and I opened every book that we're using and I opened every program and everything and said, okay, we are here, there are this many total. And so I'm just doing the math again, okay? So in a lot of this, I'm gonna break it down for where we are and where we need to be. Now I have gotten out my calendar that I use at the beginning of the year, and I can already tell you there's not enough weeks in this to do it slowly or casually, so we are going to be quite aggressive in our pursuit of making things happen. Now there's a few important factors to put in here. Our lives have been crazy. Our house was under construction at the beginning of our school year. Things have been wild. My big kid has had a lot of commitments. It's just been nuts. And so it is okay. It is okay that it didn't go to plan. It is okay that we're going to go a little longer into May. It is okay if we just do what needs to be done in a manageable and palatable bite. I will not be killing anyone to force this to happen in a time frame that I want it to happen, okay? There is no amount of me that is going to make people miserable in the pursuit of getting back on track. I will, however, develop a plan and then hope it goes that way, and I'll do my best to make it go that way because that is what works for me. But no one will suffer in the pursuit of these goals, okay? I don't want you thinking that I am going to turn into a crazy tyrant. That will not happen, because then everyone hates everybody, everyone hates homeschool, and that is not the life I want. So I already know, I can tell you, we've got some big things coming up at the beginning of the year that is going to just require a bit more flexibility and grace, and that's okay. So if this doesn't go exactly to plan, or there may be some things where it's like we need to pick up the pace and we'll do a couple lessons of them a week, and that is okay. There's just something, for example, you guys know we started with a totally different math program and we've been blowing and going, but we're not halfway through it. And that's okay. We are moving along at a pace that is sustainable, thankfully. Something else, Texas history, I had it planned out. I was thinking it would go like, maybe like 1 semester, 1.5 semester. And honestly, we deep dove the original peoples of Texas so hard, and I'm so thankful we did. It has been a wonderful learning experience, even for myself, who went through Texas history multiple times, who has lived here and enjoys all of these things. But I'm not sad that we went slowly. I'm not sad that we wallowed in the wonderful information that is available to us to deepen our understanding and appreciate our learning quite a bit more. So I am not sad about that. Now, according to my calendar plan, I have about 17 weeks is what I had originally planned for the spring semester. And that's just not going to happen. For example, I'm going to start with our group subjects. So our group subjects. Dinos 101, we've completed 7 full modules of 12, so we are on pace. Chemistry, we have 21 lessons left, but we are through chapter 4 of 6. So if we continue to do them 2 a week, I think we're fine. Totally on par. Our film study, we have 11 sections left, and we've been splitting our sections into taking 2 weeks per section. So I don't think that we're going to be able to keep up that pace, but if we do, it's fine. It's a fun thing. So I'm going to evaluate with my kids and see what they want to do. If they want to pack it into, 1 full section a week, and maybe we start the week with watching the movie, like watch the movie on the weekend, or we just leave the movie toward the weekend. We'll see, but I don't want it to drag on indefinitely. They quite enjoy it, so I don't think they'd have any problem ramping up the speed of that one. Texas history. Okay, so if I'm using Free Fun Texas history, we are only to we still have 10 sections left of 13, because again, we went slow. So we are only 2 early settlers. However, I will say that I feel like there's a lot more information that is readily available and understood. I feel like Texas history is better represented from this point forward. So I think it will go just as fast or be as easily covered because there wasn't a lot of focus on what we've already done. So I believe that this will be kind of on par. I'm just going to mix and adjust to going the pace that makes sense, because it is not anything that we need to check the box on or finish before, for example, going into summer or carrying it over into next year, if that is what makes sense. This one I am really feeling out, and we are living and teaching and homeschooling it very organically. So however it happens, that's how it happens. And that is good for me. Tech essentials. Tech essentials, we are going slower than I expected. It's kind of dry. So we're doing 1 little lesson a week. So we are only, by their measure, 23% through this program. So I think that I will evaluate with the kids and see if they want to double up on it a week, or see how they want to progress with this program specifically, because it is a little bit dry. So I'm going to evaluate with them and see how they want to move forward, but I think it's valuable. So it's a weird, we'll see what they want to do. Okay, let's go into 3rd grade. So my 3rd grader is actually the one who is mostly on track, which is awesome. So for her math, she is going to start lesson 17 of 30. So she is perfectly on track. For spelling, she's on lesson 23 of 38, again, perfectly on track. Michael Clay Thompson, we are reading the Mud trilogy, but she has completed Grammar Island and Sentence Island. She's working 1 sentence a day. If they all get done, great. If not, I don't care. That's not a thing that I measure. It's just 1 a day, which does apply to things also like handwriting and things like that. So we are through chapter 6, or we're on to chapter 6 of 10 for the vocabulary. So again, perfectly on par. And then there will be 8 weeks of poetry, which we will also pick up as soon as we finish reading our Mud trilogy. So she just right where she should be. Geography, page 61 of 132. Again, spot on. And that's just a page a day. So a couple more pages if she wants to, or we'll pick it up, speed it up a little if we want to, but it's not a thing where I'm like, oh no, it must be done. Not even worried about it. Same thing with handwriting. For her cursive handwriting, she's on page 58 of 158. However, a lot of those pages are just various exercises of writing, addressing a letter in cursive, like things like that. Things that I'm not going to say don't matter, but I'm going to say are not going to dictate when we finish the school year for handwriting. So that is what I'm going to say. Same thing with thinking, honestly, for both girls, just a page a day. You get through it, you don't, we pick it up later. It is not a thing that I stress about. So for my 7th grader, and this is where it gets a little bit hinkier. For math, she is on lesson 9-5. So technically she's halfway through. Of 18 chapters, 18 being like the final exam. So she probably has a solid 18 weeks left, which isn't bad because like if we finish schoolwork and then the last week she just does the final exam of math, I actually think that's pretty reasonable. So I'm proud of us for catching up and getting back on track. So I think it will be fine. She also is back to doing math just on our school days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday for a little while in an effort to kind of get going. She was just doing 1 lesson a day and then 1 lesson a day, Monday through Friday. So I might see if she wants to pick up with that, keeping that Monday through Friday pace, but we'll see. Michael Clay Thompson. So this is where it didn't go to, not that it didn't go to plan. It did, and I'm really glad. So we went ahead at the beginning of the year and we started the grammar voyage. I'm going to say voyage level. I get confused. Started that straight off the bat, and we went ahead and started the writing. Instead of leaving writing, what we've done in the past, what I've done with the other levels is the grammar, the writing, and then the poetry. Instead, and then vocabulary throughout, readings throughout. Instead of doing that, we did grammar, vocabulary, readings, and the writing. We started all at the beginning. So I took it out of the middle and put it because it's so meaty and it's so intense, and we've made it to the place where writing is for real. From the time you're seeing this, I think next week, I've got a whole thing about my philosophy on writing coming up with you. Okay? Don't light your pitchforks and come for me yet. I got a whole thing about it. Anyways, so I'm so glad we did it that way because there's like 4 writing like chapters in the book, and the first one is so long, so meaty, so much. We took it at such a manageable pace that she is finishing up her first 4 point papers. So I think that we will be okay in the long run because the second chapter of the writing should take about 4 weeks. The third chapter should only be like a week. And then the 4th chapter should take like 8 weeks if we are taking it 1 author's essay at a time, which I think will be totally fine. So I feel really, really good with this pace of it, and I'm very thankful that we did it. I did just expect that we would be a little bit further ahead than we are now. Vocabulary, she is on, I think she has about 7 weeks left with like the assessment pages at the end. Spot on. She went ahead and made all of her flashcards. Like, we're doing great. Poetry. For the poetry, it should take 8 chapters, and we will start that probably right when we come back. Maybe take a couple weeks off before we kick that into high gear. Maybe get through the next writing chapter before we kick that one into high gear. And then the only other big thing that is measurable for her is History Detective, and she has completed lesson 33 of 74. So again, we're pretty spot on. Normally, by about spring break, we are just like grasping at straws to keep something to do. That just won't be the case this year, and that is okay. So I feel really good. I actually felt a lot better as soon as I sat down with my where we are, what the total is, than I expected. So before I actually pulled everything out and actually looked at it, I was like, okay, it's fine. But now I genuinely feel like, okay, it's fine. So that is where we are. So this is my planning and prepping for 2025. I feel better. Okay, so thank you for that. But this is where we are, where we're going to be, and I will keep you posted on progress for that mid-semester update. So look for that, see if we righted the ship, see if we got it under control. I'll let you know. So That's where we are. Okay, guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. So I hope that you guys are where you feel you should be with starting the new semester. I would love to hear, are we on track? Are we ahead? Are we behind? Are we drowning? Are we swimming? Are we awesome? Are we worrying like I was? How are we? Sometimes it is simply as easy as just getting the data. So if you just get the data, then you can kind of remove some emotion out of it and you feel a little better. And that is how I feel right now. So I'm really glad that I did this, because going into next week is Christmas. So going into, from when I'm filming this, so going into that week, I'm going to feel a lot better knowing that we actually have a better handle on this than I expected. So yeah, thanks guys. I hope this was helpful. Bye.